So good. Let me make sure I got speaker view. Is that good? Can you see me? There we go.
Yep.
So thank you so much for taking the time to do this. You showed up so strong throughout track. So I wanted to get a second, take a few, not a second, but a few minutes to kind of pick your brain and just kind of ask you your experience. So
Sure.
So first question is, how many units have you closed since starting track? Or sold, not necessarily closed, maybe they're still on
Right.
contract, but
Let me
sold.
pull up my spreadsheet so I can answer that instead of guessing.
Look at you, Mr. I check my numbers. I love it.
Oh, for sure, for sure. What date did we start track?
We started back in August.
August.
I will get you the dates just now.
All right. Well, from August until now, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 either closed or under contract.
Love it. Yeah, I think we started the 9th or something.
Right. Yeah. So, well, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that would count then because the 12th was my first one. So,
Okay, there you go.
I mean, in that period of time.
Fantastic. I love it. That's fantastic.
Not
What
my
do you
first
feel like are the two top things that you took away from track that was most impactful to you?
I think intentionality of planning and making myself do some things that I had not tried or done. So, you know, I've only been an agent since I got my license in March of 2020. And then obviously COVID was most of last year, which was just a cluster. And so I think I did that normal thing that a lot of folks do, which is kind of like shiny object syndrome, but also like just experiment a lot to try to figure out like, what do I do well and what works for me and what doesn't. And I think track provided a continuation of that because there were things that I hadn't really done that it added to the mix or it had me do more of. And then so that was kind of the front end, and then the back end of just making decisions. Okay, this works well for me. I'm good at this. I'm not good at that. I don't like that. Whatever. This is what it can look like in a more structured way.
Yeah, I think when I first did it, I felt like it gave me permission to not do the things that I just didn't love, right?
Mm-hmm.
To not do the things that I just wasn't really good at, you know. So that was fine. One of my big takeaways was like, oh, I've been granted more time to do all the fun things that I really like to do.
Yeah, exactly.
So awesome. What do you think? Now, I know you just got recently licensed, so you may not have an answer to this question, but what do you think makes the locker room stand out versus some other coaching companies that you might have seen or have experience with?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have any other experience with any coaching, so it's hard to say. I mean, the closest I've come to any of that is I'm a pretty voracious reader, and although I'm not really a podcast person, I have listened to a lot of different sort of coaching podcasts. But I don't think that's a replacement for the actual experience.
Yeah.
So it's hard, honestly, it really is hard for me to answer that because I don't feel like I have had that exposure.
Yeah, no, and that's fair. Sometimes agents will come in and hire a coach right away, you know, so you never know.
Right. Yeah. No, that was not me. I mean, and you know, I came straight to Flex too, which isn't even necessarily a traditional brokerage. So a lot of my learning was absorbing through Anne and just my own. I mean, having worked in education for so long, I think I'm the type of person who does just learn stuff, but I did just learn stuff.
Yeah. I think for the amount of time you've been in the business, you're doing a spectacular job because it's not easy to get done, especially last year was a nightmare. So I think you're doing a fantastic job. So
thanks.
You're welcome. So as you know, we had a list of people that started with us, right? And only a handful of you guys that really kind of stayed in it to the end. What would you say to some of those people, or maybe some other people that have not been brought to your brokers that are on the fence about, you know, doing track?
Right. I mean, it is absolutely a you get out of it what you put into it situation. And so I don't know what everybody's motivations were for signing up and then not necessarily being invested. I tend to be, for the longest time on my LinkedIn, my headline, one of the things on my headline said like enthusiastic participant, right? So I tend to be an enthusiastic participant in whatever I'm connected to, right? Like I feel a strong sense of responsibility, not just to my business, but like, okay, if I'm going to be part of track, I'm going to be part of track or whatever the thing is. And so I think what I would say to folks is like, it's going to be, you have to manage your own expectations, but also the same sort of self motivation and self drive you have to be successful in real estate, you have to be successful in track, right? Like obviously someone like you is there as an accountability coach, but you know, you're not holding any purse strings. You're not like, there's only so many levers as a coach that you can pull, right? So people still have to say, this is what I want to get out of it and do it. So I guess what I would say to people is go in with intention. And if you go in with intention and drive to get the most out of it, you're going to get the most out of it.
I love that.
But why be passive?
Yeah. And that's why we start with, are you interested or committed, right? If you're going to be committed, and let's do it. So, all right. So last question, how has this experience affected your life as a whole?
Damn.
And on a deep note, I'm going to give you a second to think about that one.
It has affected me as a so like I'm Southern, I have to speak in metaphor. It has added fuel to the engine, right? So I think Ann and I have a really solid plan, like not business plan, but like life plan for ourselves. So that makes doing the work really easy, because we can just check back in with that life plan. But what Track did is, at least for me, I can't speak for Ann, but for, when I think about us and our life plan, it sort of added fuel to like the engine that we were already building, right? Like, okay, how can we keep this going? We both had really good years. How can we keep this going to help us stay focused on our big why, which is that life plan?
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for sharing. Listen, and when I kick off Track, I just like to tell people, I like to get deep and I like to get to know you guys on a personal level, because I feel like when you grow in your business, you just naturally, if you don't already, you have to grow personally. Like the two, I truly believe that the two go hand in hand. Sure. And if you're lacking in the one area, it's because the other one is not as strong. So it's like we constantly have to work on both all the time. Because it's just never ending, right? I feel like when I get to a place where I stop personal development or things like that, the self-doubt starts to creep in, and all these things that you've been replacing thoughts and stuff like that start to come back in. So it's a constant thing, and it should be for your business too. So awesome. Well, that's all I have.
Certainly in this business, the distinction between the two is more blurred compared to my previous life, right? Like when you work in a structure like a university, it is easy to separate work life from personal life. And I think in real estate, that's a lot less simple.
Yeah, I think you learn a lot about yourself,
Sure.
So awesome. Well, thank you so much for meeting with me.
Always that was easy.
Yeah, there you go. Nothing hard.
At the end.
So
we're going to get all heavy and feedback and critical and stuff, but
no, easy peasy. I love it. You'll be hearing from me tomorrow as far as homework to do with you for the first call about the 19 things.
Cool.
All right. So look forward for that.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
You're welcome. I look forward to seeing you Monday.
Have a good day.
All right. Take care.